And I always thought that the Eastlake schools had the edge because of the Eastlake Educational Foundation. And I still like to be a part of that because I want the young kids who are in our community to have what my kids had. And for their parents to volunteer and the extra money for technology in the schools, it's worth a lot.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Cuadraparra, and welcome to Eastlake Plus, a positive podcast. Today, I have the honor to be standing here next to one of the foundational people from Eastlake.
Hi, my name is Lynn Howell, a longtime volunteer and huge supporter of the Eastlake Educational Foundation.
So, you have been a long time, by long time, we're talking like over 20 years supporter.
Over 20 years.
Yeah. Of public schools in our community. So I hear that you got the Ostrem award this year from the foundation. So,
well, I'm blown away that why would they choose me? I mean, yeah, I've been a volunteer for a long time, but it was never a job. It was always my pleasure because I loved it, always loved it.
So you had a chance to work with Bill Ostrem. Like, tell me about those early years, some behind the scenes that not many people know.
I initially got a part-time job at the Eastlake company and as their receptionist. Back in the day, it was called the Eastlake Development Company. And in that office, there was about 20 plus people. Very small office that did such great things, built this community.
Mm-hmm.
And every time there was a new phase opening, all the families went from the office, and all of those grand openings, there was always something that was child friendly, face painting or a clown or something to encourage the families to go, to bring the kids. And then there would be something to eat, but there would be kid-friendly food like a hot dog or whatever, so all the families wanted to go there and all the families wanted to live here.
Yeah, I remember very pivotal moments in my childhood was going to the Eastlake Shores community and having that Easter bunny paint my face or make balloons.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I'm really grateful that that tradition that, started. So since the community started has really been the driving factor. So that's really cool, and I'm really grateful. So you talked about these grand openings. What are other events that you or the foundation
Well, one of the things that I used to play a part in was when we used to have music in the park, and that was funded equally by the Eastlake Company and the City of Chula Vista. So, and I was kind of like the one that would coordinate with the City of Chula Vista to put those concerts on in the park.
Yeah, so I mean, clearly I see why you got that award. The being a huge liaison from those events would not have happened without you. So is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, when we first came here to live in 1991, we actually came straight to Eastlake. And then we rented a condo in Eastlake Shores. And we was renting because we didn't think that we would be able to afford to buy in this fabulous master plan community. Until one day, I went to the Eastlake Home Finding Centre, picked up a brochure and it was like, hey ho, I think we can do this. And hey ho, bought our first home in Eastlake. And it was, we don't live in that location anymore. We still live in Eastlake Greens, and our builder was Brem Communities. So we lived in a Brem home, and then a couple of years later we moved into something a little bit bigger, but still in Eastlake Greens, and our builder was Bill Davidson. And we still live there, and we're not going to move.
That's wonderful. Yeah, it's great how the progression of a home can happen all in one community.
Well, yes, and also we used to say to each other, my husband and I, when our kids get older, we'll move away from this master plan community. Why would we want to be here when it's full of kids? Well, now it's why would we want to move away? Because we know all our neighbours. And yes, our kids, they no longer live at home with us, but we've got a neighbourhood full of kids, and I know all the kids in my neighbourhood, and they go to Olympic View School.
Oh, that's really sweet and cute.
It really is.
That's a very full circle moment.
And also, one of the first events that I worked on for the Eastlake Educational Foundation was Cycle Eastlake. And at that time, the event used to be held in that park. That was the starting place, the park just down from Eastlake High School. And so that's where it would start, that's where it would end. And so there was, when it first started, there was a 50-mile ride, a 25-mile ride, and I think a 12-mile ride, which was, I think that was the mountain bike. And then there was the roll and stroll for the kids, you know, for the moms to walk with the kids in the strollers around the neighborhood. And one of the first times that they walked around, they went to the different schools, because by that time there was other schools that had been built in Eastlake. They would walk around to the different schools, and there would be a water station there and a little snack for the kids, something like that.
Oh yeah, I remember. I mean,
Did you take part in that?
Yeah, I was a cheerleader for the middle school and the high school, so I remember passing out water, giving snacks. Yeah, and then like there was always like you said, a bunch of like kids, just like running with their parents. It was really cute to see.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that has been like such a long-standing tradition.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and one of my favorite events because it included all the community. You know, the parents, the kids, everybody. Yeah. You know, another way of bringing the community together.
Yeah, just one of the many.
One of the many.
Yeah. So this year I had the privilege of being an intern here, and even though I graduated last week, I still know that
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I still know that even though I'm not like part of like the Eastlake school or I've like graduated, I still have a huge part in this community. So you being a long-time volunteer, why is it still important to continue giving back even though your kids may not live here anymore?
Well, it's mainly because our kids went here. You know, they benefited from all the schools had to offer. And I always thought that the Eastlake schools had the edge because of the Eastlake Educational Foundation. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there's many volunteers, and I still like to be a part of that because I want the young kids who are in our community to have what my kids had. And for their parents to, you know, volunteer and maybe help out with the Eastlake Educational Foundation because it's such a great thing. And to know that their kids have got what other kids don't have. Mm-hmm. You know, the money for the extra money for technology in the schools, it's worth a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons I wanted to give back in, like, my last years because, I mean, I got to take advantage of those, like, STEAM events when I was in elementary school, and that was, like, a huge part of my education, so this was my small way of starting to give back, but I will be following in your footsteps and trying to be a long-time Eastlake community member.
Well, I think it's very easy to do when you enjoy living where you live, and you want to continue to give back because you want it for future generations.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for joining us, Lynn, and congratulations on the Ostrem Award. I know I'm really appreciative of all the work that you've done. And thank you so much for joining us. And that was Eastlake Plus, a positive podcast.